Welcome. We bring you Japan's latest news every day. AI sums up what matters, so you can stay informed in English in just a few minutes. If you find it helpful, please like and subscribe. Disaster relief efforts, bathing facilities and heat measures, AI technology streamlines aid distribution. In the disaster-affected areas of Kumamoto Prefecture, support efforts aimed at caring for survivors' physical and mental health are expanding. Evacuation shelters are increasingly providing bathing facilities, and the environment for disaster victims to return to normalcy is being rapidly established. Additionally, measures to cope with the intense heat have become urgent, with air conditioning systems being installed and sports drinks and other supplies being distributed. What's particularly noteworthy is the initiative utilizing AI technology for delivering relief supplies. To efficiently deliver massive amounts of aid to areas where they are most needed, AI analyzes the disaster zone's needs and proposes optimal delivery routes. Through these multifaceted support efforts, momentum for reconstruction in the affected areas is accelerating. Landslide on Miyakejima Island in the Izu Islands leaves one house half destroyed, no injuries reported. A landslide occurred on Miyakejima Island in the Izu Islands off Tokyo on the afternoon of the 1st. A slope along a prefectural road gave way, and soil debris flowed into a nearby residence, leaving the house half destroyed. Fortunately, no injuries have been reported. However, the landslide has caused water outages and power cuts in the area, disrupting daily life. Tokyo and Miyake Village are working to restore services as quickly as possible. Going forward, relevant authorities plan to assess the stability of the slope and implement measures to prevent secondary disasters. With the rainy season approaching, authorities are also stepping up alerts for potential heavy rainfall in the region. Man dies at Aeon Mall Yuki after ceiling collapse in Kumamoto earthquake. Major retailer Aeon has announced that a male customer at the Aeon Mall Yuki shopping center in Yuki City, Kumamoto Prefecture, was confirmed dead after being crushed by a collapsed ceiling during the Kumamoto earthquake. The company says it will rapidly investigate the damage to the facility and strengthen safety measures. Going forward, Aeon plans to conduct detailed inspections to ensure there are no structural issues with the facility, while also taking steps to ensure customer safety. Java man gave birth to underdeveloped infants and may have raised them cooperatively. A research team from the University of Tokyo and other institutions has found through bone analysis that Java man infants, who lived in Southeast Asia approximately 100,000 years ago, were born in an underdeveloped state, similar to modern humans. After conducting a detailed examination of the bones of Java man infants and young children, the research team confirmed that these individuals required an extended period for growth and development. This suggests that multiple adults would have needed to cooperate in childcare until the infants reached full maturity. Such childcare methods are a characteristic also seen in modern human social structures, indicating that Java man society may have been far more complex socially than previously imagined. The discovery represents an important finding in understanding the process of human evolution. Pre-debut works by Matsumoto Seichou discovered. 2 novels including mystery style piece found. Research has revealed that Matsumoto Seichou, a writer representing Japan's post-war era, published 2 novels under a different pen name before his debut, including a mystery-style work. These works were written before Seichou began his career under the pen name by which he is now known, and have not been widely recognized until now. According to researchers, the 2 newly discovered novels are valuable materials showing the early stages of Seichou's creative activities, and are being evaluated as phantom debut works of Seichou. This discovery is expected to advance research into the creative journey of Matsumoto Seichou, a master representative of Japanese literary history, from new perspectives. Hayabusa 2 passes within approximately 400 meters of asteroid surface, JAXA. Japan's space probe Hayabusa 2 conducted an extremely close approach mission to the asteroid Ryugu, with the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, or JAXA, announcing new information about the operation. Hayabusa 2 passed at an extremely close distance of approximately 400 meters from the asteroid's surface. This mission represents a crucial opportunity for Hayabusa 2 to conduct detailed observations and collect samples from the asteroid. During this ultra-low altitude pass, valuable data was successfully acquired using high-performance cameras and sensors. These findings are expected to play an extremely important role in clarifying the formation of the asteroid and understanding the history of the solar system. Consumption tax reduction on food. Funding to be clarified in budget process, says Growth Strategy Minister Jōuchi. Regarding the consumption tax reduction on food items announced by Prime Minister Takai, Growth Strategy Minister Jōuchi stated on NHK's Sunday Debate that under the current prolonged high-price environment, the key objective is to reduce the burden on lower and middle-income households in particular. Meanwhile, regarding the funding necessary to realize the tax reduction, he indicated the government's intention to clarify this during next fiscal year's budget compilation process. The government aims to support the people's livelihoods through tax reductions on food items, which are particularly vulnerable to the current price increases. The specific methods for securing the necessary funding will be determined through ongoing budget negotiations. Defense Ministry coordinating establishment of new bureau to handle international partnership policy. The Defense Ministry is accelerating organizational reforms based on this year's Basic Policy Guidelines. The ministry is coordinating the establishment of a new bureau to oversee international partnership-related policies, aiming to strengthen its framework for promoting defense cooperation with other countries. With the security environment becoming increasingly complex, the ministry has determined that it is urgent to expand the scope of defense cooperation frameworks and conduct more effective collaboration with allied nations. The Defense Ministry expects that the establishment of this new bureau will contribute to enhancing national defense capabilities and building international trust, and is moving forward with detailed organizational preparations for the future. Government accelerates efforts to restore water supply in wake of Kumamoto earthquake. As damage from the Kumamoto earthquake continues to spread, the government is demonstrating its commitment to rapidly advancing recovery efforts in the affected areas. Prioritizing the resolution of water outages, which have become a critical issue, the government has decided to request local municipalities across the nation to dispatch technical personnel. Recognizing that specialized knowledge and expertise are essential for restoring water infrastructure, the government aims to bring together experienced staff from across the country to achieve an early resumption of water service. The government is also strengthening coordination with relevant agencies to systematically restore other lifelines, including electricity and gas. Moving forward, the government says it will closely monitor the progress of recovery construction work and swiftly implement necessary support measures to assist disaster victims in rebuilding their lives. Kumamoto earthquake corporate impact day 2. Kyushu manufacturer plants facing operational disruptions. On the second day following the Kumamoto earthquake, major manufacturers' plants across Kyushu continue to experience operational disruptions. Multiple factories have reduced or halted production due to facility damage from the earthquake and delays in safety inspections. The shutdown of plants manufacturing components is having ripple effects, with major automobile manufacturers also facing production delays due to parts supply interruptions. As companies work to assess the full extent of damage and complete facility safety checks, businesses are accelerating efforts to resume operations as quickly as possible. Depending on the situation with aftershocks, there is potential for the impact to spread further, and the industry is closely monitoring developments. Yen rallies again as Japan and US show rare coordinated response to correct weak yen. The yen is moving higher once again. The government and Bank of Japan implemented market intervention on the evening of the 30th to stem historically weak yen levels, but sharp yen appreciation continued to occur repeatedly from the evening of the 31st into the early morning hours of the 1st. What is drawing particular attention is that U.S. monetary authorities are showing an unusual coordinated response. Japan and the United States are taking rarely aligned measures to correct the weak yen, and market observers are pointing out the possibility that strengthened coordination between the two countries will continue. All eyes remain on future currency movements. Kumamoto earthquake corporate impact day 1. Factory and store operations, some signs of resumption. The Kumamoto earthquake is disrupting operations at major manufacturers' factories and retail stores across Kyushu. Automakers have halted operations at their Kyushu facilities, and due to their reliance on affected parts suppliers, production impacts are spreading to factories outside the Kyushu region as well. Meanwhile, facilities with relatively minor damage are moving to resume operations within the day, with companies working urgently to assess damage and proceed with recovery efforts. In the distribution sector, some retailers are preparing to reopen their stores. Going forward, attention will focus on how companies respond to normalize their supply chains. President Trump posts agreement to call off attacks on Iran. U.S. President Trump posted on social media on the 1st that he has agreed to halt attacks on Iran. According to reports, the Trump administration had been planning a major military operation against Iran over the weekend. President Trump says he agreed to call off the attacks on the condition that a swift agreement be reached, citing requests from Iran and other Middle Eastern nations as the reason. This decision could lead to easing tensions in the Middle East region. Meanwhile, attention is being paid to how Iran responds and how U.S.-Iran relations will develop going forward. Updates: Russia's military invasion of Ukraine, developments of August 2. We bring you the latest on the situation in Ukraine. Fighting between Russian and Ukrainian forces continues across the country, with particularly fierce battles reported in the eastern regions. As civilian casualties mount, many citizens are being forced to flee to neighboring countries. The United Nations has expressed concern over the deepening humanitarian crisis and is calling for the establishment of safe corridors. Meanwhile, Western nations have indicated they will further strengthen economic sanctions against Russia, with G7 countries confirming their united commitment to continued support for Ukraine. Ukrainian President Zelensky is appealing to the international community for ongoing military and economic assistance. As developments continue to unfold, mediation efforts by international organizations are also underway. U.S. reports Iran attack planned for this weekend. Iran issues strong warning amid concerns over escalating strikes. According to multiple American media outlets, the Trump administration is planning military strikes against Iran alongside Israel this weekend. In response, Iran has issued a strong warning, stating that any country that becomes America's shield will be burned by the flames of war, signaling its readiness for retaliation. As tensions in the Middle East continue to intensify, there are growing concerns that the situation could escalate into a cycle of attacks and counterattacks. The international community is calling for de-escalation, and developments in the coming days are being closely watched. Some 60,000 migrants surge from Morocco into Spanish enclave of Ceuta. Spanish PM condemns human traffickers. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez has condemned human trafficking organizations for a massive influx of approximately 60,000 migrants from Morocco into Ceuta, Spain's North African enclave territory, on July 31. According to local media, the migrant surge has resulted in at least 57 deaths amid the ensuing chaos. Prime Minister Sánchez denounced the mass migration as an infringement on Spain's territorial integrity. In a countermeasure, Italy has temporarily suspended the Schengen Agreement with Spain. The Schengen Agreement is an arrangement among 29 countries, primarily EU member states, that allows citizens to move freely across borders without passport controls. The surge in migrants from Morocco followed a decision by Spain's Supreme Court ruling that migrants heading to Ceuta and Melilla, Spain's other North African enclave, cannot be forcibly returned to Morocco even if intercepted at sea. Prime Minister Sanchez, who arrived in Ceuta on the 31 Stone, stated that criminal organizations deliberately misinterpreted the Supreme Court's recent ruling. Following consultations with Moroccan authorities, it became clear that human trafficking mafias interpreted the Supreme Court's ruling in a way favorable to them, and this misinterpretation spread rapidly, Sanchez said. Trump administration acknowledges mistake in Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool renovation, drops charges. Prosecutors have dropped charges against a former Olympic athlete in connection with damage to the Lincoln Memorial's reflecting pool in Washington, D.C. The pool's blue coating began peeling shortly after renovations were completed. According to documents filed with the court on July 31, prosecutors said the damage appeared to be the result of improper construction by contractors. President Donald Trump had previously blamed the pool's problems on what he called sick and deranged vandals. However, new information suggests the damage stemmed from hasty and sloppy construction, overseen by the U.S. Department of the Interior, according to court documents filed by Washington prosecutors on July 31. The case involved David Hahn, an Olympic canoe slalom competitor, who was arrested last month in connection with the reflecting pool damage. He faced up to 10 years in prison if convicted. In a statement, Hahn's legal team condemned what they called an abuse of power by the Trump administration and called for an apology to Hahn.